I would say probably most people, if not all, is there's always an underlying sense of, what am I doing here?
Why is all this here?
So just an easy one to get started then.
So it doesn't have to take 30, 40 years
No.
anymore.
The Buddha said it takes 3 countless great eons to become enlightened. And Learning Strategy says, let's turn that into a 6-week course.
I love the way that Jeddah expresses, you know, the models of existence and the way that life tends to operate. She does this in a very simple, common sense, down-to-earth way.
We are the sea of awareness, all of us. And is there a higher authority?
No.
No, this is it.
This is it.
Feeling very clearly in my business, in my relationship, that big changes need to happen.
So let me get this straight. You want me to sort out your finances and your relationship?
You will look at things, you know, obviously for such things as love, or what is doubt, you know, commitment, contentment, things like that, to oneself, true self. And that just keeps on building.
Now there's 5 major sources of illusion that are operating on the planet and in human beings. The rabbits and the bees are not under any of these. The trees don't have existential angst. It's just us mob. So these 5 things that we're going to cover over today through to Saturday are the 5 major sources where we get tripped up as human beings. Now, you might think, well, when I mention today, we're going to look at fear and how that's the antidote to love and how love is the antidote to fear. You might say, well, I'm not afraid. I know there's people in this room that are almost completely free of fear. But you know, fear can happen in very subtle ways. So if you're over here and you're dealing with the grosser levels of fear, you're afraid of the dark, you're afraid of getting mugged, then you might be in a grosser state of fear. You might be fearful that you're not good enough at your job. You're not in a gross state of fear, but you might be, you know, worried about something on a perpetual basis. You might be over here where you're slightly anxious about how you look. You know, you're slightly fearful about saying what you mean. And it gets subtler and subtler, and once you get right up to this end of the spectrum, you might be dealing with levels of fear that are so subtle they no longer bear any resemblance to the gross fears. And I would say most of you in this room are somewhere between the midline and here. Not many of you have many gross fears left. But there are people out there who do have gross levels of fear. And if we can understand the mechanism of fear, if we understand what dispels it, what brings it there, how we participate in allowing it to stay, then not only do we free ourselves, but we can be an example for others. Our energetic vibration, when we are free from fear, what does it do to others? They start to drop their own fear in our presence. Over these next 5 days, we're going to look at fear, we're going to look at doubt, we're going to look at struggle and conflict. We're going to look at myth. We're going to look at all the myths that we operate under. And finally, we're going to look at individualism, separation, on Saturday morning. So these are all the different ways that we operate under the influence of anything which is not the wholeness and the truth of our being. Unfortunately, they don't show up in neat little segments like, oh, today I'm doing fear. You know, yesterday I was doing doubt. They're merged, they're entwined, and to some extent they've become hardwired. If we do something consistently enough, we've actually hardwired our brain mechanisms, our brain chemistry even, around those qualities. So it's not just a case of just dropping it or saying, I'm not afraid anymore. It's a case of bringing in the energetic vibration in which that can no longer exist. So we don't dispel fear by saying, I'm not afraid. We dispel fear with love, only love. The energetic vibration of love is so aligned, it is so much an expression of the qualities of awareness that it simply cannot hold fear. It simply cannot hold it. And over these next 5 days, I think you'll get to see just how beautifully you are designed. There's no accidents here. You are perfectly and beautifully designed to be full of love, confidence, harmony, truth, and universal wisdom. It's all been given, it's all there operating in place. So all we're going to do over these 5 days is start to take our consciousness, which is our tool. Is everybody clear around that? The consciousness is our tool, it's our noticing faculty, and we're going to place it into those 5 existential areas of awareness, which will dispel every single state of hindrance known to mankind. That sounds good, doesn't it? Yes, I'm signing up.